Alright, YouTube. Part 3. Finally. Right then. Alright, so in this section of the review, I'm going to be talking about the games. The actual physical box cartridge, yes, games. Now, currently there's only about, I would say, about maybe 25 to 30 games in total that are for the system. And, probably a good 20 of them I'm interested in getting eventually. Now, when you think about it, the system came out in March, and this is July, so it's only been about 4 months, really. So you can't really expect a whole bunch of stuff out for this system, because I don't know any system who launched with hundreds of games. It just doesn't happen. So let me bring up a little list of what is out there that I'm looking at. That way I can keep an eye on it. Alright, but to get to the one that I have, Lego Star Wars 3. Now, there is a pretty good choice, as I can see behind me, behind the camera here, of what I had to pick from. But I thought, well, I like the first two in this series quite a bit, and so I was going to get this anyway. You might as well get it on the new system. Now, I had a bad experience doing that once before. I bought Lego Star Wars 2 on the old DS, the regular style one, which is over there. And the game was very glitchy, and regretted it, and actually ended up I repurchased it on the PS2. Now, I was willing to take that chance, and I was gonna have, well, I had the money. I was gonna buy one no matter what, and it was between this and Pilot Wings. I think that's what I had to narrow down to, and I was thinking, I was in the mood for like an adventure platformer game anyway. And I was thinking, what can hold my attention since I'm in that mood long enough? And it ended up being this. And so I bought this. And from just looking at the back, they really, I don't know if it was the way they took the screenshots or what, but they didn't do anything any good for it, because these pictures are kind of fuzzy. I mean, I'm sure you can hardly see it at all. But in person, looking at these images of this game, except for the third one, they're kind of fuzzy anyway. But the game itself, it looks, I mean, it's Lego. What the graphics are going to be Lego graphics no matter what it's on. Except the old DS, which made it look, really shouldn't have bought that, but I did. Anyway, they look decent. I'm pretty sure the 3DS has so much more capabilities than the old DS, so it's capable of putting out some decent games. So I was thinking, well, this will actually give me a way to see in what the third parties are capable of, what a multi-platform game is capable on the system. And what is it capable of? Throwing 3D onto a 2D game. And that's about it. Now, I know what you're saying. Of course, that's what it's going to be. But the 3D elements of this game, when you're walking around and doing the regular missions, it's just, yeah, it's 3D in an environment. But where 3D actually gets good, at the second level, when you're in when you're flying your spaceship, your Jedi fighter or whatever, and blowing up stuff, the jet trails coming off the engine almost look like they're coming at you. Now, of course, it's not floating at you, but it gives you the effect that it looks like it's flying at your face pretty well, including when things blow up, and you do that, and when you get your little token cap thingies coming at you, they kind of fly at you and then up. So it's alright, I would say. Now, since this is really an overview and not a review, I'll review this in the future. I'm going to overview what they're doing now for their cases. Now, as you can see here, it's a little bit thinner than a DS case. In fact, I'll get something to compare it with. Hello again. Alright, so comparing it with a regular DS case, I would say it's about like maybe 3 millimeters thinner. Other than that, it's the same size everywhere else. I mean, you can't really, it's the same dimensions, it's just thinner and lighter, and it feels cheaper. Like the inside of these cases, which I always found hard to open. Nice thick plastic, nice solid almost, I would say it's almost bulletproof, but of course it's not. But that's what it feels like. It feels bulletproof compared to these cases. And this is because everybody's going cheap. And let me take the book out, which, yes, it comes with the book, surprisingly. And the thing's full of holes. I hate that when they do that. I mean, I understand you're saving plastic, but it feels like if you were to, let's say you had to sit down on a desk, and let's say you accidentally drop something like a remote vertically, which I don't know why it would do that, it feels like it would just smash right through it and crack the plastic, which then goes into the cartridges, and, I mean, these still feel nice and solid, but how much impact can a cartridge take? Anyway, now for the cartridge differences, let's see, is there one in here? Yes. Comparing it to a regular DS game, everything's exactly the same except for the little notch, and that's what keeps it from going into a DS. And that's it. That's why it's backwards compatible. The labels are the same size, and same quality printing, I'd say. And of course now everything is gone white. I don't understand that, because the system is black, or if you bought the blue one, it's blue, with an always black inside piece. The only white part on the whole thing, or gray even, is the little analog stick thing. But it is a little change, I guess. Another thing I felt was really, really weird is the way they put the 3DS little ribbon, I always call them, like right here, on the bottom of the box where you open it. Every other game system with boxes, I would say, is either, well, the DVD cases, of course, have been at the top, but all like the Dreamcast, the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, let's see what else, anything in like a CD case, or even the old DS, everything was along the edge that rounded off, and then you'd have your label and whatnot and so forth, and yeah. Now, I mean, it still says 3DS on the outside anyway. There's a little logo there, but I thought that looked kind of strange. Now, other games besides this one that I've played both the Street Fighter 4 edition, whatever it is on here, and the Dead or Alive Dimensions, and I have to say, Street Fighter 4, I mean, if you look at the screen, the 3D slider, there's a green light that comes on when 3D is enabled. Like if you're playing a 3D, a regular DS game, it'll go off. And when you're playing Street Fighter 4, or whatever it is, Super Street Fighter, it actually goes off when it goes into the cutscenes. So, about half the game isn't in 3D anyway, and it's supposed to be the 3D edition. I don't get it. The fighting, it's in 3D, yeah, you do the perspective. I don't like the perspective at all. It's Street Fighter with a little bit of 3D added in. Even the menu is only in slight 3D. I mean, it kind of comes separating the characters from the background from the other level, but not really. So, until a further point where more games come out, I'll probably redo a review of the system later. So until next time, goodbye.